I'm Kylie Bartlett, social media commentator and strategist. I'm interviewing small business owners and tackling their biggest social media challenges live on the show. I'm on a mission to talk about what social media really is and how to successfully apply it to your business. It's SME for SME, social media education for small, medium enterprises. Hi everyone. On today's episode, we discuss with Sam Buckby from Buckby Electrical how to systematize your social media with really interesting content. We've got a great tech tool to share later in the show that will mean that you'll never have to remember any of your online passwords ever again. But first, let me share a little bit more about this week's business, Buckby Electrical, and see what I got up to when I visited his business. Sam from Buckby Electrical is no stranger to being in front of a camera, having featured on the popular 9 Network program The Block for his first-class electrical ingenuity. Sam is an expert when it comes to designing advanced systems for state-of-the-art homes, always following and delivering the same message. Functional designs equals simplified lives. Sam is very proud of the successful business he's built and recognises that none of this would be possible without a dedicated team and the support of his gorgeous, beautiful family. Please welcome to the show this week, Sam from Buckby Electrical. Sam, welcome to SME TV.
Thanks, Kylie.
I'm pretty impressed that you made it here, mate. I did hear a little birdie told me you might have had a few bevies last night.
I did have a couple, yeah. We had a little party. We've been working up on the new series of The Block, and we had the estate agents and whatnot through last night. It's not my apartment. The boys had the estate agents through, but I was up there just to help present. It
sounds like it. Help present with a few.
Yeah, well, we had an opportunity to unwind afterwards.
Good. So thank you for taking the time to be here, knowing you've just come back from an awesome party up there at The Block.
Hopefully I don't look it.
You look amazing. Amazing what makeup does, hey? All right, so talk to me about Buckby Electrical. I know you've been around for 11 years, you've got half a dozen staff, but the business is moving into a little different direction than it has been when you first set up. Do you mind just sharing a little bit of this? What's the once upon a time story?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. For a long time, we've operated in Geelong just like any other electrical contractor, and you know, it's just been in the last couple of years we've tried to diversify a bit and really sort of find our niche. And I mean, for me, I've got a bit of a passion for sort of functional design. I get a bit frustrated at doing things the wrong way and things being too complex and taking too long and being inefficient. So, you know, I think when I was a kid, I grew up taking shortcuts, and now I've tried to make a bit of an art of it, I suppose.
No, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So making things more functional.
Yeah, so we do. And it comes down to the design. It's really hard to retrospectively go into, you know, if you've got a building project that's already underway and it's already bound by time and budget.
Yeah.
Being able to then implement a lot of those things that need it to make it a lot more functional, it's really hard. So for us, it's about getting in a bit earlier and trying to be involved in the design.
So partnering with architects and looking at it from a functional perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, we certainly don't tell architects they're not doing their job right. For us, it's more of, you know, they can specialise in the aesthetics and the size and all those things, and we can come in and we can really sort of use our knowledge to be able to make the building function really well. And yeah, that means it can be more sustainable, more efficient.
Yeah.
It can offer a better lifestyle, particularly in a home. But I mean, ultimately for us, it's about being more simple.
Yeah, taking the complication out of it.
Having new technology is great, but if it's hard to use, it's not worthwhile.
You know, Sam, listening to you there, I mean, we so need you. People that are building homes or renovating need you. The problem is that probably a lot of people don't know that you exist, right?
No.
Because of old school, it was always word of mouth or a mate referring to another mate. I mean, look at how you got the job on The Block. You know, it was people in Torquay referring to someone else and in you go. In a previous episode, I spoke about 25% of the Australian population are now under 30. And not only under 30, they're cashed up because they're in executive positions and they think differently. And I reckon if you could get in front of those eyeballs, they're the ones that do want smart, functional, efficient homes, more so than people that have done it the traditional way. So social media could be a massive tool for you.
Yeah, I mean, there is an amazing alignment between what I do and that, because a lot of the homes these days, that functionality comes from pulling the phone and iPad out of your pocket. So I guess in one, they're probably looking at their social media, their Facebook, and then they're flicking over and controlling their home on the same device. So
Hello, that's a great example.
Yeah.
If anyone should be really leveraging it, it should be you, because as you said, if they're controlling their home through an iPad or a tablet, then they're on Facebook and they could be looking at your page at the same time.
I can only hope.
Okay, so tell me, what are your biggest social media challenges?
Look, I guess I have a real challenge. It might just be a perception thing, but I do feel like coming up with interesting content can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
You can only share so many things until people sort of see through it and go, really, there's nothing all that interesting there. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
So that can be a problem. And I guess, it's a time thing, it's a system thing. I just don't find the time or make the time. And then when I do make the time, I'm probably not using it well enough because it's a bit ad hoc. I'm trying to do it on the fly, and it can just be a bit of a pain sometimes.
All right, so here's what I reckon you need to do. The biggest trend at the moment is DIY. I mean, you see it when you've been on the block and you've got the Better Homes and Garden shows and Scott Cam and Rob Palmer and all those guys. Here's what I would do right now if I was you. I'd get out a notepad and pen and I would scribe down 10 of the most frequently asked questions about what you do, okay?
Yep.
Then I would write down 10 of the should have asked questions that you wish people had asked you, right?
Yep.
So we've got FAQs and we've got SAQs.
Got it.
So now you've got 20 questions, and I would literally whip out your iPhone and I would answer those 20 questions in a little short, sharp 1-2 minute video that you could then drip feed onto YouTube, onto Facebook, onto Twitter. Honestly, everyone wants to know how to do things, and DIY is massive and you need to leverage that.
Yeah.
So it's literally when you're on site, think of all of these FAQ questions. The iPhone can record the video. Your social media doesn't need to be complicated. So now all of a sudden you've got 20 weeks worth of content.
Yeah.
And as you said, you're using your phone for other things and you're teaching people how to use it in their home. Just literally, what did you say when we were talking before we went on the show? You've got one of those swivel that holds your...
I do.
You've got a swivel.
Yeah.
And you've got a phone.
Yep.
And you can start to answer the questions. Those 20 questions I reckon would be superb.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that I would do. Now, you spoke about time and you called it having systems in place. I'm going to call it systematizing, and I don't even know if there's such a word as systematizing, but I'm owning it. So actually I might even come up with a hashtag systematize. I actually like the ring of that. So systematizing. So you need to have a system in place. Now, have you got any staff, any admin staff in your business?
Yeah, I do, and I think they actually enjoy using social media, hopefully for the right reasons.
You think they enjoy?
Hopefully for the right reasons. Hopefully it's...
You should be all over it and finding out what they're doing, what they're saying about you. So step one, you need a plan.
Yeah.
Sit down and work out what the heck do you want to say, why do you want to say it, where do you want to position yourself, and then I would be mapping out a content calendar of what you're going to say on what day and then handing it to your team to actually execute.
Yeah, okay.
You don't necessarily have to be literally on the tools all the time with your social media. You can outsource it to an internal team. Problem is outsourcing fresh air will give you fresh air. So you need to provide the content.
Okay, yeah.
Now, you've been really modest about the block. I mean, that's a big coup.
Yeah, I guess it was quite difficult actually, and I did speak to some people at the time, almost on the social media side of it, because when we started working on the block, for us it was really exciting, but nobody else knew about it because there's that delay.
Yes, and you're not allowed to say something because you're kind of filming before?
Yeah, I mean, there is that, but also nobody else is really all that excited or into it because it's not on TV. So I'm saying, we're doing this, and I did do a couple of posts and whatnot, and people really weren't that engaged with it. So then I'm having to do it retrospectively, and I guess, I probably haven't done it enough.
Think about this. You put in a couple of posts and you're not getting the loving back. Take a girl out for a drink and wine and dine. You've got to show a little bit more than a couple of posts here, and then you want instant gratification, right. Sam.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
So here's the thing, when you are working with high profile clients, and I don't mean just the block, but if you're working with businesses that have got a really great reputation, it's that build up too. It's that leading into anticipation, like I've been kind of doing with this show, teasing people about what's coming, then having a little bit of behind the scenes where you can without getting into trouble with Channel 9. And then, of course, afterwards, leveraging it. And where I think you could leverage it is even though you didn't do the design of the brothers, that they're the ones you're working on, aren't you? The brothers that are working together. Even though you didn't do all of their design, there's nothing wrong with you referring back to one of the rooms in the house, but giving it a nice functional electrical feel to it. So even repurposing the content that they created and putting your own commentary over the top of it. Because you're not saying you own it, but you're commentating and having an opinion on it. So that's probably the way that I would go about it. It's got to become a priority. If you want to take over the world with this new functional, smart way of building homes and designing homes, I think you have an obligation to do it, mate.
Well, I think I've started a new Facebook page for it's a new business. It's going to be called Smarter Buildings.
Nice.
I think I've got about 20 likes or so.
Yeah, well, we've got to get smarter with it, right? So 20 likes, but again, what do you want? You can't expect to grow it overnight. It is an organic thing, unless of course you throw money at it and start doing paid ads and all that, but start with a plan. You would come to me if I was building a home, you'd say, where's your foundations? And that's what I'm saying to you about your social media. Okay, so what have we learned from this week's episode? Our top takeaway tips for this episode are: number one, creating interesting social media content doesn't need to be complicated. It really can be as simple as pulling out your smartphone and shooting a short educational video and drip feeding that onto your social media channels. Number two, having a monthly content calendar mapped out 30 days in advance is the key to systematizing your social media. And number three, if you've worked with high profile clients and brands, be sure to leverage the relationship online. Sam, I just want to say thank you so much, mate, for taking time out to be here. I really appreciate it. Great interview, and I hope you felt the same way.
No worries, Colleen. I'm sure the pleasure was all yours.
Good on you. Fantastic.
No, joking. Thanks for having me. It was great.
It was fantastic. Okay, now for this week's Tech Tool. Today's Tech Tool is a piece of software called RoboForm. RoboForm remembers your passwords so you don't need to. All you have to do is remember one master password and RoboForm remembers the rest. It's that easy. Whether it's on your PC, your Mac, your phone, tablet, or even a USB drive, RoboForm Manager gives you secure access to your passwords wherever you go. Do you shop online? Wouldn't it be great to fill out all of those forms instantly? Well, with RoboForm, it's just one click and you're done. You'll never need to remember or type your passwords again. And the great news is RoboForm is free. Go give RoboForm a try and let us know what you think. Well, that's it for another episode of SME TV. We really hope that you enjoyed that interview with Sam and have taken away some great tips to implement back into your business. If you would like to keep the conversation going, you know what to do. Head on over to Facebook, leave us a comment. We would love to hear from you. We'd like to thank our sponsors and in particular the Geelong Chamber of Commerce. So on behalf of myself and my incredible partners from The Object who have put this sensational production together, we want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in. So until next week, may your social media news be absolutely fantastic news. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.